Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with another video. All right, y'all, if you haven't subscribed, make sure y'all subscribe. I got some people in here that like to comment and, just come through and bring traffic, which is good. But if you haven't subscribed, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. And always hit the thumbs up. If you hit the thumbs up, I'll keep on doing these. And, of course, the notifications will go out, which they still kind of hold me back on because I don't think enough people are hitting thumbs up when they watch the videos I do. So please do that. I like to hold these conversations with y'all and just keep it going. I love to keep it going and talk WMMA and combat sports, boxing in general. But yeah, man, I'm back with another video. So I was just checking out the post-fight interview again with Dana White, last Tuesday. I watched it the day after, but I just got caught up doing other things. So I went back and watched it again from the previous week of the Contender Series. Of course, Contender Series is coming on again tomorrow. But going back to the one last week, he was asked about Carla Esparza and her chances of getting a title shot, and her choice to sit back and wait for the winner of Rose Namajunas versus Zhang Weili too. Because Carla Esparza, she's already went on record saying, look, I've done enough. I've got my 5 fights. I should be a lock-in. I should be a shoe-in next. It should have been me the first time, but since Zhang Weili brings in more money, I understand, so I'm going to just sit back and chill. That's kind of been her approach. But Dana White, he actually responded to that at this post-fight interview. This is what he had to say. He said, I don't ever agree with that, meaning sitting back and waiting. I mean, you see what happens in the past. When you try to sit out and wait for a title fight, it usually doesn't happen. Stuff never falls the way that it's supposed to, and you end up sitting out for too long, and people start to forget about you. It's never a wise decision just to sit out. If you get offered a fight, you should take it. That's what he said. And I think Dana White is kind of referring to Carla Esparza turning down a fight with Mackenzie Dern. Now, before, Mackenzie and Rodriguez was supposed to throw down, that fight was offered to her, and Mackenzie Dern went on record to say Carla Esparza didn't want to take that fight. But in my opinion, the Dern fight with Rodriguez actually made more sense. That fight to me made more sense because it made more sense rather than Carla seeing that one because, Carla was willing to fight the number 4 Yan Xiaonan, and, to me, that was a much better fight. It was a much better style matchup. And I think Yan Xiaonan was in a better place where, to me, I think that Rodriguez and Dern was just a fight that needed to separate, who was really ready for that next step to title contender. Whereas Carla Esparza, she's already ready. Mackenzie Dern was a fresh face for Marina Rodriguez. Marina Rodriguez already beaten a lot of experienced fighters, but trying to take on an improving, hyped up fighter was a big step up for her, in my opinion. One with a dangerous ground game as well. That fight made more sense. As y'all know, Marina Rodriguez defeated Mackenzie Dern by wide unanimous decision after just one scary round. Marina Rodriguez and Mackenzie was the fight that I was calling for, to happen this year because I wanted to see who could separate themselves to title contender status. Where again, Carla Esparza, she's kind of on a different path. So I understood why she ducked that fight. So Dana White, he mentioned the fact that it's not a good idea to sit out. And like I said, I think he was referring to that fight. But I also saw he voiced his interest in a Marina Rodriguez and Wmma fight. Them two fighting when he was asked about that matchup. He stated that would be a good fight. He has a good relationship with Wmma. Like he said, she's good. She's making money. And it doesn't sound like he's going to be forcing her out of the rankings anytime soon or even forcing a fight on her. But he said if she was offered that fight and she took it, it would be great. So with that, I think it's safe to say that if Marina fights Wmma and wins, that's going to be a sure shot. That might be a sure shot to maybe make her jump over Carla Esparza for a title shot if Carla chooses to wait. I know that doesn't sound right, but the politics are a mess. The politics are a mess. So Carla Esparza has to watch out for that. She's got to do something right now to build herself up, which I'll go into here in a minute. Because, like I said, a Wmma fight, I brought this up in my other video, a Wmma fight for Marina Rodriguez would definitely lock it in for her, in my opinion. Because right now she's on that, 3-0 streak. And if she grabs a win over Wmma, that would be 4-0 against the number 2. Somebody's ranked higher than Carla Esparza. And like I said, Marina doesn't mind jumping over her at this point. She said, hey, Carla, you deserve it. But hey, if I get it, sorry. You know what I mean? So the politics will be a mess like that. And you got to remember, Wmma and Marina both have crowd-pleasing styles. They got crowd-pleasing styles, man. So I wouldn't be surprised if Marina jumped over. I mean, there's only so much you can do right now. I mean, Carla, she did recently respond back because Carla went in and said, look, I want to sit out. Dana said, not a good idea. So Carla, she recently responded about Dana's comments of waiting. Here's what she had to say. I definitely plan to wait for the winner of that fight and kind of see what shakes up at that point. If it came to a point where Weili won and they were like, okay, we're going to do a rematch, then maybe it's time for me to stay busy. Or we're not going to do a rematch. It's time for us to stay busy. But I've been waiting. Been nearly 7 years since I won any title. I worked hard to get back to this point, and anything in a fight can happen. So obviously shown, it says, we obviously shown that I'm willing to fight anyone and everyone in the division. I've been doing that my whole career, so it's not a matter of being afraid to fight anyone. This is the opportunity of a lifetime, and I don't want to lose it to impatience. Okay, so that we can argue with, and everyone knows that Carla is the much-deserved contender. You know, she doesn't have to fight Wmma or even Andrade at this point because this is Andrade's division. Like, if Andrade comes down, she's got to wait in line because there's other better quality fighters that haven't touched, you know, title shot status yet that we need to see, like Marina Rodriguez. Marina's past Andrade, in my opinion, right now. You know, Andrade just can't come down after playing at 125 and think she can come down and start playing at 115. You know, don't work like that. Or yeah, like I said, she doesn't have to fight Joanna, Andrade, or even Dern right now. But if Carla's not going to fight anyone and she wants to sit back, which is cool, she has to do one other option. Because there's two options here. There's two options. You either fight and you stay active and keep beating other fighters that try to get in your way of title contender. Anybody trying to take your title shot, you keep beating them. That's what you do, right? You keep getting, okay, Dern's coming. I'm going to knock her out. Marina, you're in my way again. I'll knock you out. Joanna, oh, let's repeat history. I'm going to get this get back. I'm going to knock you out, okay? That's what we're going to do, right? That's one option. The second option is to be vocal. I just talked about this in the video with Caitlin Kagan I just did. So there's the two options. You got to fight or you got to be vocal. So if she's done fighting, in order to get this fight, she has to get everyone behind her. She's got to get everyone behind her because Dana White was clear. He said, what's supposed to happen doesn't always happen. Now, I'm going to say that again. Dana White said, what's supposed to happen doesn't always happen. So you have to get it. You have to get it any way you can in this game. You know, it's a fight game. The same way you make adjustments in a fight, you got to make adjustments out of the octagon. You know, you got to be on your business. You know, you got to slip and deflect BS all day long. You know, somebody over here trying to take your title shot, you got to use that lateral movement, get around them, you know, with the right moves. Doesn't necessarily mean you got to fight them outside the octagon to argue with them or go on Twitter arguing or beefing with them. But you gotta use some type of political stance in your way. You know, you have to, for example, you got to pull opinion to a certain extent. You got to pull opinion, Carla Esparza. At this point, you have to pull that Julianne opinion. You got to pop up at the podium at UFC 268. You got to get it Dana right there and say, look, I choose to wait because I'm the new blood for these fighters. Whoever wins this fight, whoever the winner is, I deserve that title shot. That's what you got to say. You know, tell them that I've been waiting for the winner. I beat 5 fighters. Get everybody behind you right there. Put them on blast. Say I won it, and everybody believes the same. Next, she needs to be out there with media. You know, again, you have to get people behind you because if you don't, people say, oh, yeah, that's messed up. You didn't get the title shot, but oh, well, you know, because they don't know you. They don't know you and they're not really familiarized with you or they don't like your style. Like some people, if they don't like your style, but if you're a cool fighter, they will respect you and they will go to bat for you. You know what I mean? Like some people say your style is boring, you know, but again, if you're a cool person, you interact with fans, you do interviews, you get with get with the media, they'll respect you all day long and they'll always go to bat for you. They're gonna say, yo, Dana, this ain't right. We'll start tagging Mick Maynard. Y'all got to put this girl in there as the next title contender, you know? So you got to be out there with media, you know, those that support you, those that are building, you know, the building your backing. Because right now, those that think she deserves the title shot agree, but not enough to go to bat for her, like I was just saying, you know, because she's not out here doing these interviews, you know, so fans are only going to do so much. Why, you know, WMMA watchers, they're only going to do so much. You know, they see the BS, but it's like I said, even in the street, like if people don't like you and they see something happen to you, they'll go walking right the other way. You know what I mean? Like if you had a flat tire, they'll drive right by you. You know what I mean? Like never happened to me before, but I'm just saying, like, if somebody you don't like is in some type of, dire stress, or if they're, like I said, on the side of the road, good chance that person, they're not going to want to interact with you. They're just going to ride right by you. You know what I mean? But if they have some type of respect for you, they'll probably pull over and say, let me do the right thing and help this person out. So fans only going to do so much. The more you're in tune with these fans, your following is going to get bigger, and that brings out more fans. People will say, tune into this girl, tune into her supporter. You might not like wrestling, you might not like a fighter that just goes for takedowns, but hey, she's cool as hell. She fights hard. She does what she's supposed to do. And if Dana sees the money in that, there's no denying the title shot. That's why she lost it to Zhang Weili in the first place. Right? Let's be real. Like, I kept saying the logical thing, yeah, Carla deserves it. But deep down, I already told you, I knew that Zhang Weili was going to get it because it comes about the mighty dollar bill, y'all. It comes down to the dollar bill. And Zhang Weili, she brings in the money. So it was already a shoe-in for Dana White to say, let's get the second fight. And we never know if Zhang Weili destroys Rose Namajunas in this fight, or if it's like fight of the year. If they close out with like Wmma Zhang Weili status between Rose and Zhang Weili in the rematch, if they go in there and throw down and they come out, bloody and, close rounds and action-packed, blow for blow, if it's a fight like that, who knows? Rose and Zhang Weili could put on a third fight. If Zhang Weili wins this one, they could put on a third fight. If it really brings out the action, if it really brings it out, Carla might have to sit back again for another year and some change, because we still haven't got to the fight. So we don't know what type of action that's going to put on. Zhang Weili knocks out Rose. Rose might want a third fight with it. She might say, look, I want to close this trilogy. I want best 2 out of 3. Right? So in the meantime, if that happens, what is Carla going to do? You're going to be forced to fight somebody. Or it's like I said, you go to UFC 268, push your way into the door, get up to the podium like Pena, and tell Dana White that I want next, regardless of what happens in this fight. Let me get next. And people see that, and they go back and do their research, and they see that history that between Rose and how Rose got destroyed by Carla. People are going to say, we don't even want to see Zhang Weili in a rubber match. We want to see Carla Esparza and Rose get down. We need to see this rematch. That's how it has to be. So, yeah, man, it's very important. It's very important. That's why I brought this up in my previous video with Caitlin Kagan. I said that fighters, they have to stay on it. They have to stay on it, especially in WMMA. You have to stay in tune with your fans because, again, you don't really get enough respect outside of the WMMA fans, not even the UFC fans, because the UFC fans, the average man, they just watch fights. I look at live streams like on Bellator's comments, and they're just talking trash about the women when they're fighting sometimes. They're talking trash. They're talking about the man cards next. They're not even really focused on the women. Sometimes they just blatantly say they suck because these guys are ignorant. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these guys are ignorant. So you have to kind of build a fan base. You have to build a strong foundation with the fans you do have, and they'll for sure go to bat for you. Like I said, if American fans, they backed up Carla Esparza the way China backed up Zhang Weili, there would be no question right now. This wouldn't even be a video I would be doing right now because Carla Esparza would have that rematch. She would have that rematch. After Zhang Weili got knocked out, they said, let's move on to this big bad story we got right here because everybody's backing Carla. Everybody wants to see Carla in there with Rose. They want to see if she can go back in there and repeat history like she did 7 years ago. But it's not working out that way. It's not working out that way. And my final thoughts, I will say, it's those two options. You either fight or you be vocal because Dana White, he said it's not a good job to sit out. And he's a guy that likes to see people stay active. He likes to see people stay active. Like, he is a company man, and he likes to see people work and show initiative. You know what I mean? I was like, whenever a boss sees somebody just being told, they're waiting, being told what to do. Dana's one of those guys. He likes to see people take initiative and keep working. You know what I mean? They don't need to be told what to do. They just keep going. And, he sees them doing the right things. Like, okay, this person, I can leave them alone, and I know they don't have to be micromanaged. They can just keep doing it. They want to stay active. Okay, okay, I like that. But if you're like waiting and sitting around, no, he don't like that too much. He like people to stay active and keep fighting and staying in the public eye, and he wants them to stay um, entertaining, not just sitting back and waiting. So Carla Esparza doesn't have that type of relationship with Dana. Wmma apparently, obviously, she does, but Carla Esparza doesn't have that type of relationship with Dana. So she's got to stay in good graces by taking the initiative to, like I said, if you're not gonna fight, which is cool, stay in the faces of these two strawweights that are going to be fighting in November for UFC 268. And that's pretty much all I got, guys. Leave some comments in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Carla Esparza, if she's going to wait, what does she do? Does she pull a Pena, invade the press conference? That's what I think. Or it's like I said, go to your IG, tag Mick Maynard, tag Dana White, tag the UFC, and say, fans, do you think I deserve the next title shot? So tag your face and tag Carla Esparza. Tag Carla Esparza. Carla Esparza needs to tag her, put a picture of her fighting Rose Namajunas, or beating Rose Namajunas the first time, right? That's what she needs to post on her IG right now. Carla, you got to post a picture of you destroying Rose Namajunas 7 years ago, and under it you have to write, who wants to see the rematch to this fight? Tag the UFC, tag Dana White, tag Mick Maynard, a la Caitlin Chikagian. Same way she's asking for a fight, do that, and the fans will come out and comment, and that's going to show them that, oh man, people want to see this rematch. But I'm just saying, that's what you got to do. I'm just saying. Let me know, guys, what y'all think. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.